Glottalic airstream mechanism. It's a special type of airstream mechanism through which various sounds are produced, and it is used in some of the languages, so we must be able to describe this system also. Glottalic, as it is clear from the name, glottis is basically the area from where the the required force for the pressure is created, and this is the non-pulmonary mechanism, airstream mechanism, and the involvement of glottis is made here. For example, you can just think about the glottal stop, right? In the glottal stop, what is happening is that we are just using glottis as a source for creating the speech sound, right? In glottal stop, like or Hamza in Urdu, a very good example with us, that Hamza, it is the glottal stop. So you can just think about the application of glottis, that how glottis is used in the production of speech sound, okay? Within this airstream mechanism, the lung below air is closed off, remember, because there is air which is in the lungs, right? But it is stopped. It is completely closed off at your larynx, right? At your sound box. It's not allowed to go up in this process, right? And in the oral cavity, there are three basically closures. One is that the glottal stop is there, the glottal closure is there, because the glottis is completely closed, right? So the air is not allowed to go up the larynx. And then there is second closure because your velum is actually closing down the air passage towards your nasal cavity. So that is raised, and that is also completely blocked. And then the third closure is, if it is a bilabial sound, then it is made at the lips, at the area of lips, like this, in this shape, right? So three closures are there in the glottal airstream mechanism. One at larynx, second at velum, and third at lips. It could be at dental also, or maybe at alveolar also, depending upon the place of the articulation, right, or the place of the production of the sound, right. So three stops are required, and the air is actually entrapped within these three closures. The air is in between, entrapped, and then what happens is that the aggressive, because this air pressure which is created within the area of these three closures, then that area is basically containing the air. And when it is pushed out, right, like in the case of the Hosa sounds like b, t, k. I'm unable to, clearly pronounce these three sounds, but the Hosa people in Africa, they are able to, produce these sounds, and the sound is called aggressive. But there is one more possibility for these non-pulmonic glottalic airstream sounds, that while the air is pushed inside, right, despite taking it out, while taking in, when the bilabial, in the case of bilabial sound, when it is open, so the air is not pushed out, but the air is taken from the outside. And that's a very typical, sort of sound, which is also available in some of the Pakistani languages. And Sindhi is one language which is, internationally famous for this discussion on implosive sounds. Those sounds are called ingressive or implosive, like when the air is taken inside, right? And the sound is called, it's also found in Saraiki, by the way. The Saraiki speakers and Sindhi speakers from you people, you can analyze the sound. Because if you try to produce this sound, I can try to produce this for you. Because when you are taken inside the air, like b, b, like in our very common, very neutral b is while we are pushing the air out, like b, right? Or any other stop. But now try to produce this sound while taking the air inside. So that's actually the implosive b or ingressive b. So I'm trying, and you can also try like b, b, b. So I'm not taking the air out, right? So that's a good example for ingressive sound. And this is the figure which can tell you that how is this glottalic airstream mechanism activated, right? So the first closure is here at larynx, right, which is sound box, or the glottal closure, technically. And the second closure is here, like the V-leg closure. And the third is here, right? For the time being, I'm just making this here with my marker, right? So just imagine that this is also closed. So these three closures are created. And then these red dots, solid dots, these are actually the compression of air, right? So when this pressure is created of the air within this area, right, between the lips and the glottal stop, so this compression is there, all right? And then when this closure, the front closure, when it is open, then the air is getting out, and the result is the application of bilabial. It's per within the Hosa language. Okay, so that's the aggressive, because the air is going out, it's taking out. All right, and then there is one more possibility, ingressive. For ingressive, again, all three closures are there similarly, right? I'm closing it down, right? This is front closure, just imagine for the time being, right? So again, this air pressure is created, but this time it's the rarefaction of the air. Despite that compression, it's rarefaction now. And when the lips are open, the air is taken inside, and this larynx is just, getting down a little bit, this pushing the air down. So this pushing of the air down is basically making it ingressive, and it is produced, the Sindhi b or the Saraiki b, they are produced while just using this ingressive method of glottalic airstream mechanism. So two possibilities within glottalic airstream mechanism, aggressive and ingressive.